Hello friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Let's start our video with a story about a jerk whose mental image is really something. Needs 1,000 vuvuzelas pointed at him though to drown out the stupid. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. You want me to call and ask permission for you to be escorted to a restricted area? Sure. But you'll be escorted out instead. I work part-time in guest services in a large event center. Think NBA. I've worked there for years and have made many friends. On this day, we're hosting a televised league series for men's basketball. Certain levels of the arena are restricted to certain ticket types, VIP, club, etc. At the same time, another sport was having their televised league series about an hour or two away from where we were. I can't remember the sport. Maybe football? For the sake of the story, let's say it was. I was working the guest services booth as a supervisor. I'm in direct radio contact with a command center who can contact other supervisors and managers in the building. I'm also generally liked by all the staff, especially by the person who was working command center this day. This is important for later. A gentleman came to the booth dressed in sports merchandise for one of the football teams that was playing at the venue 2 hours away. He rudely asked where he could watch the football game. The conversation went like this. RM is rude man, me is me, com is command center person. Me. Hi sir, what are you looking for? RM. I want to watch the football game. Where can I do that? Me. Unfortunately, all of our TVs on this level are set to the channel that shows what's happening on the court right now. So get a remote and change it. Sorry sir, those TVs cannot be controlled like that. Listen to me right now. Call someone on your radio and tell them that I want that TV changed right now. He's pointing to a TV down the hall. Okay, sir, one moment. I then call to the command center and ask about changing the TV. The command center says, no, that's against building policy. I explained this to the gentleman. So you're telling me that in this whole damn building, there isn't anywhere that I can watch the game? On this level, no. I knew very well that there's an area on the club level that has several TVs that can be changed to different sporting channels. Club's a restricted area though, and I saw him come up the stairs of a public level. Call on your radio and ask if there's a TV I can watch. I don't believe you. Okay, sure. I call the command center again, explaining the new request. Com. I'm sure TVs on the club level may have what the guy's looking for. Finally, I told you! That's great that they have what you're looking for. Do you have a club level ticket? No, I'm in the 100 section. Oh, well then I'm sorry, sir. You can't be on that level without a club level ticket. Are you kidding me? No, sir, those are the rules. That area is restricted. Call someone to take me there now. I want to see the game. I get back on my radio again. Hey, command, this gentleman would like to know if someone can escort him to the club level so he can watch the game. Com. Does he have a club ticket? Me, smiling now, holding the radio in a way that the man can hear what command center is saying. No, he does not. No, we will not escort him. RM starts screaming obscenities at me. Keep in mind, this back and forth with the RM and command center has taken at least 15 minutes. I want to get up on that level right now. Sir, the only way to do that is if you had a club ticket. Our box office is still open if you'd like to upgrade your tickets. I'm not going anywhere. Call them and tell them to come up here. I'm the customer. Take me right now. Oh yes, I'll call them. Hey command, it's me again. This gentleman would like to have someone come up and take him to the club level right now. Meanwhile, RM is still screaming in the background. Command center can hear this. Com. All right, they're on their way. RM heard this and is now yelling that I told you so and that I'm worthless at my job. He continued yelling as the security manager for my company and police officers walked up to us. The manager asked him if he was ready to be escorted. Not looking at who'd shown up or thinking past berating me, the RM said yes. Manager says, okay, so we're going to escort you out of the building now. RM's eyes get wide and he gets pale. He starts pleading, saying he was sorry and just wanted to watch the football game. Manager says, well, if you wanted to see the game so bad, you should have driven to the football venue 2 hours away. And our second story. Want me to create fake data for your clients? Sure thing. So about 20 years ago, I worked in a call center / customer feedback company. They did mystery shops and gave out customer surveys when trying out new products for clients. One such survey was a countrywide burger joint changed the way they cooked their fries, different potatoes, cooking oil, and cuts. I wrote the software for this survey, but I had made a mistake in one of the questions. The question was, would you buy this product again? And unfortunately, due to my mistake, always was true. When I was making reports for the data is when I noticed that I'd made a mistake. I went to the boss and told her what happened. She said, "Oh, just fake the data, but make sure that it's still overwhelmingly true overall." I said no, I wasn't going to fake data. I told them to just tell the client that one question was an error and we don't have usable data for it. But the rest of the survey was good. I even told them to tell the client it was my fault, it was after all, and we'd be good. She said to come with her and made me sit in her truck as she pulled out a stinky cigarette. "You just got married and bought a new house. Be a real shame if something happened and you lost everything. So as I said, go and fake the data." So at this point in my career, I was terrified of this threat. I did what I was told. I faked the data. Every rating of the product from 1 to 5 that got a 5 or a 4, I said they would never buy the product again. Any 1s or 2s, disliked the product, were given a true for willing to buy product again, and the rest were all random. They took the data, made the graphs, and sent it to the client. They were furious. None of the data made sense. Boss comes at me angry. "I just did what I was told," was what I told her. She got even more angry. And suddenly, after that, no one in the company would talk to me and said to fix it. So I did, made up even more data that didn't make any sense. They submitted it back to the company, and lo and behold, they were even more furious. They ended up losing that client. The client continued making the new French fries that everyone hated. Average rating out of 5 was 1.2 or 1.3 if I remember correctly. I found another job and quit. Not one person talked to me other than do this or do that after this incident. Apparently, coworkers were told that if they said anything to me or gave me a going away party, they'd be fired. The owner and management were horrible people. Eventually, the company went bankrupt and was constantly in court for non-payment to employees. Then the owner died and this tale comes to an end. Nice. Glad you got out of that work environment. I would have burned that company, though. Fraud is fraud. And our last story. Mother-in-law tried to have me arrested for not allowing her in my house. When my daughter was little, before she started preschool, she's now 36, she would have difficulty breathing after visiting my mother-in-law's house or any place that allowed smoking. This was back in the mid-1980s when you could still smoke in restaurants and such. My wife, now ex-wife, and I do not smoke. Finally, after one such occasion that my daughter was having problems breathing while at home, it was bad enough that we took her to the clinic. After examining my daughter, the doctor asked if we smoked. After telling him no, he asked if anyone in our house or extended family did. At that time, mother-in-law was a heavy smoker and she was the only person that would smoke inside our house. We had friends that smoked come visit, but they didn't smoke in the house. The doctor explained that my daughter was showing signs of a mild allergic reaction to secondhand smoke. It was mild enough that treatment wasn't necessary, but we needed to limit or avoid exposing her to people that smoked. Mother-in-law and I had never been on good terms, but it got much worse after I posted no smoking signs inside our house. She saw them but said it didn't apply to her because she was grandma. She usually avoided visiting when I was home, and my ex wouldn't stand up to her. Finally, mother-in-law came to visit while I was home. She came strolling in, puffing away. After I asked her politely to put the cigarette out, she refused, saying that she had the right to visit her grandchildren however she wanted. I then asked her politely to leave, and she pretty much ignored me. Now I need to add something here. I was raised to be polite and to respect others, and that was reinforced by my Marine Corps training. There are some exceptions to me being a nice guy, such as putting my children or wife in danger, as mother-in-law soon found out. Since she wouldn't take me seriously and refused to leave, I physically picked her up and took her outside. At that time, she was much heavier than me, but she'd finally pushed me over my limits. I set her down in the driveway next to her car and told her to go home. I went back inside and locked the door behind me. My wife didn't say a word, but she was smiling because she knew I could get away with treating her mother like that. Of course, that wasn't the end of that fight. Our neighbors had been old drinking buddies with my wife's parents, so mother-in-law stormed over to their house and called the cops on me, claiming assault. It's a small town and I know a lot of the cops, but the two that show up I've never met. Since mother-in-law called them and met them in my driveway, by the time they started knocking on my door, they were planning to arrest me. However, I'm not dumb enough to open the door. After they hear my side and the fact that mother-in-law didn't look too roughed up, their attitude quickly changed. After showing my ID with the address given to them by mother-in-law, they stepped back from the door and talked a bit. A few minutes later, one cop comes back up, steps to talk to me, while the other one went to talk to her. His next question actually surprised me. I've had a few not-so-nice meetings with the police. He asked if I wanted to press charges, breaking and entering, trespassing, assault, domestic violence was not a thing back then, against mother-in-law. Tempting, but no. My ex is an only child, and I'm not going to forbid Grandma from seeing any of my 4 kids, as long as it's on my terms, i.e. no smoking. Instead, I said I just wanted her off my property and that she'd have to call before coming over. Side note, after this incident, she no longer talked directly to me unless I answered the phone, so that was a small victory for me. Relations with mother-in-law were pretty much gone. I rarely saw her, even though she also lived in that small town, but that's a whole different story. Entitled Grandma trained her daughter well because after 19 years, I finally had enough of ex's entitled attitude and I divorced her. Neither ex or ex-mother-in-law no longer talk to me. No hurt feelings on my part. They don't talk to each other even, something I'd wished for back when my children were little. Imagine risking the relationship with your grandchildren over a effing cigarette? Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.